Now that you understand the importance of regular grip, simply take the other club and place it in between the scissor grip. Do this a few times just so you can get comfortable with how tight you need to hold the scissored club in place. You see, because if you are holding the grip too tight, when you try and catch that club, it's going to just bounce right out.
Oops.
And if you're holding it too loose, it's going to fall through the middle.
Oh no!
So it's important to find the tension of the grip that is perfect so that you can catch it.
Yeah!
All right, let's talk about getting into the scissor catch from a 3-club cascade. First, you want to catch into a regular grip. Then you're going to turn your hand over so that your palm is facing down. And when you throw this final club, make sure that you just throw it into the scissor grip. You don't want to have to reach for the catch. Let it come to you. Let's do a little faster this time. From the cascade. This little exercise is great for developing control with your scissor catch. Start in the basic scissor catch position. Just give it a little sway so that the club starts rocking back and forth, and toss it from this position. Try to catch it back into the scissor catch. Do this over and over again, and it will help you develop good control of that scissor catch. Here are a few other things you can try to further develop your scissor catch skills. First, try throwing a double into your scissor catch. Some people find it a little easier. Then try throwing a double from your scissor catch. That helps develop more control. Find a few ways out of your scissor catch. You can also place the club directly into the scissor grip under a double.
Now we're going to take you through the 4 basic scissor positions. It's important to understand these positions to have a chance at surviving the rest of this chapter, so pay attention. Good news, you've already learned the first scissor position, commonly known as scissor. Notice that the scissored club is hanging on the outside of the grip. The next scissor position is the inverted scissor, or Invissor. Notice that the scissored club is still on the outside where the scissor is, but it is now resting over the wrist. The third position is the inside scissor, with the scissored club now on the inside of the scissor grip, next to the pinky. And the final grip is the inside inverted position, with the scissored club scissored on the inside of the scissor grip next to the pinky and resting on top over the thumb. Now we're going to take a closer look at each one.
We already took a good look at the first of the scissor positions, the scissor. So we're going to move right on to the second, the inverted scissor. Notice that the scissored club is still held on the outside of the hand by the scissor grip, but it's facing in the opposite direction. Notice also that it can be expressed in a few different places, behind the arm, inside the arm, or it can be hanging. You can catch it into any of these positions, and they're all frequently used. So the first scissor catch that I want to show you that goes into the inverted scissor is tossing a flat with the single club and catching it straight into the first position. Notice that it's resting on the outside of my arm. It's important to make sure that you adjust the tension on your grip at just the right time so that you can catch it properly. The second one is with the palm facing up. You're going to catch it in a hanging position, just like the original scissor catch, basically. Notice, though, that my palm is facing up. So if I return to our first position, the scissored club is resting on the outside of my wrist. Now, this is my favorite. I'm going to throw it on the outside and catch it over the top of my head. So, it looks like this. I'm going to throw it on the outside and catch it over the top of my head. So, looks like this. Looks like this. Lastly, let me show you a few ways to toss from the Invissor. We'll start with the club hanging, and then we'll give it a little swing and toss, just like we did with the scissor. This is a great way to practice your inverted scissor. And notice that it's still an inverted scissor. You can also wrap it around, but my favorite is when it wraps around your wrist. Let's take a closer look at that one. You want to start with the scissored club on the outside of your arm. And you want to think of your shoulder as a hinge. Give the clubs a little swing. And as the clubs are swinging up, you're going to loosen your grip at just the right time that the scissored club flies free. Looks just like this. Give it a little swing and release. Give it a little swing and release. Give it a little swing and release. Next up is the inside scissor, or the Inscissor. This catch can seem a little ridiculous at first, but with a little practice and a few tips, it can become surprisingly reliable. You'll notice that the scissored club is held in between the handles of the scissor grip. Now, the best way to get comfortable with this is simply to get it moving. Start swinging it. Start figuring out what is required of your grip in order to keep that scissored club in that position. You can even turn your hand over. The second tip is that you actually want to pull the clubs apart to pinch the handles onto the scissored club. By doing so, you apply the pressure from the handles onto the scissored club rather than further up the scissor grip. It feels a lot like switching from regular grip to circus grip. It's the same muscles in your hand that do the action. You just don't pull them that far apart. So as I'm holding my grip, I'm actually pulling them apart slightly to apply the pressure on the scissor club. As you get more and more comfortable with it, give it a little swing and try tossing it out of that grip. Release your hands at just the right time, right there, so it pops out. Now, to catch it back in that position, the easiest way to get started is to open your scissor grip and take the single club pointed in the opposite direction of the scissor grip, and you're going to drop it into that catch. But before you do, notice that my scissor grip has a nice wide target. I use my pinky in order to open the grip nice and wide. So that when I drop this in, just give it a squeeze and it lands in the grip. Once again, toss it from there, try it again. When you feel comfortable with this, then take the single club, toss it from the outside, and catch it in exactly the same position. Of course, just like with all the other scissor catches, one of the best ways to get better at the given scissor catch is to practice tossing from the scissor catch back into it, or in-scissor catch in this case, of course. In-scissor, back to in-scissor. That'll really strengthen the grip. What other ways can you explore that catch? If you want to get real tricky, you can take the grip and turn it over. Now when you open the scissor grip, it opens on the opposite side. With the single club, you're going to turn your hand over, give it a little half flip, and it's going to land in the scissor grip here, and then carry it through. Congratulations, you made it to the final scissor. The inside inverted scissor, or the Ininvissor. Arguably the most challenging scissor. The good news is that you've already learned about catching the scissor in between the handles with the last one. So we're going to basically follow the same process. First, just place it into the scissor grip, or the Ininvissor grip, and just move it around. Find a few different expressions. You can curl your arm around to explore the hanging position. You can also go up and over to the hammer position with the club on the same side shoulder as the hand that's holding it. We'll now explore all of those positions using catches and tosses. So first, just give the single club a little toss into the inside inverted position, just like so. Aim for the knob of this club so that it doesn't escape your grip. Once that feels comfortable, curl around into the hanging position, give it a little swing, and try tossing it to the left, back to your other hand, by releasing your grip at just the right time. You can also toss into that position. Remember, palm down, use the pinky to open the grip. You're going to throw it up under your arm and catch it back in the inside inverted hanging position. Toss from it again, and repeat. And you can speed it up a little bit as you start getting more comfortable with the position. As with the other scissors, practice tossing from the Ininvissor back to the Ininvissor. Lastly, let's talk the hammer position. One of my favorites. I like to do it from a juggle. Collect into the scissor grip, raise up into the hammer position, opening the handles with your pinky. If you don't have a pinky, I suggest using your ring finger. And then give it a little toss. Toss into the hammer. Now that you know the 4 scissor catch positions, your homework is to practice tossing between these scissor catch positions. This will give you a glimpse of how vast the scissor matrix really is. For example, let's try tossing from a scissor to an Invissor. Use the swing of the club to begin your toss, and rather than toss it out in front of you, like you would toss back to the scissor, you're going to toss it behind your hand and catch it to the Invissor position, turning your hand over. So notice I'm facing to my left, and I'm going to catch it facing to my right, like so. And then I'm going to toss it back to return to a scissor. So this allows me to practice tossing back and forth between them both. Now what's crazy is you can toss from any scissor catch position to any other scissor catch position. So if I want to go to an Inscissor, I'll toss it from the scissor and turn my hand around to the Inscissor. Now if I want to get back, toss it out, back to the scissor again. Last one, scissor to Ininvissor. Toss to Ininvissor. Always best from the hanging position. Toss from Ininvissor back to scissor. So this holds true for any of the scissor catch positions. Ininvissor can toss to Inscissor. Inscissor can toss to Invissor. Invissor, toss to Inscissor. The possibilities are endless. Actually, there's 16 of them until you explore the grips, in which case there's going to be 16 for every scissor grip. We'll get into that later. One of my favorites, the Inscissor toss to Ininvissor. Notice the direction of the clubs and the direction that I toss the throw, so that I'm throwing the scissored club toward the bodies so that I can turn the grip over. Now you can use the momentum to do it several times in a row. Thanks for joining us on the tour of the Scissor Catch Positions.
Wait! Before you go, let's review. Once again, the 4 basic scissor positions are the scissor, the inverted scissor, called an Invissor, the inside scissor, known of course as the Inscissor, and the inside inverted scissor, which by now you know is called an Ininvissor.